streaming now. And I'm going to press record in 3, 2, 1.
Leaders and healers, gamers and claimers, ladies and gentlemen from around the universe, from around the globe, from around the community, wherever you are in the entire universe, wherever you are in the world, welcome to the Power, Purpose, and Passion podcast. Cam almost just spilled something back there. It kind of distracted me. What's going on out there? I'm Anthony Cheam, your host of the Power, Purpose, and Passion podcast. Life coach, speaker, author, trainer, friend, family, father, husband. Just wanted to give to you the best of what I've learned over the past 15, 20 years of being in the self-help industry, immersing myself in everything that I could get my hands on, devouring books, seminars, audios, whatever I could, my own studies of life. Success, fulfillment. And this is really a podcast where we help you claim your power, clarify your purpose, and cultivate your deepest, widest, and highest passions possible so you can ultimately show up as the best, better version of yourself and ultimately inspire others to do the same, because that's what life is all about. That's where fulfillment takes on a whole new meaning, and that's where life truly becomes a gift that keeps on giving. So thank you for joining us today. Cameron, how you doing, man, from Chatham? It is a little bit dreary outside, but you know what, man? Behind every black cloud, there is the sun shining, and man, you are a sun in my life, my friend. How you doing?
I'm doing really well now. Here we go. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I've been doing really good lately. I've just been reading lots, and I actually, you don't realize how much you've been just like diving into books and stuff like that till 3 weeks passes, and you're like, whoa, I haven't even like done anything in 3 weeks. I've just been like isolating myself in my room learning.
Yep.
But it's all good. It's all like, it's so weird how you never expect, oh yeah, you can learn more than more. You could always, there's always a next level, and this fourth dimensional awareness, I am so excited for, because it kind of very much reminds me of what I'm learning, which is just awareness beyond what you see right now, like beyond the five senses and every belief that was installed inside of you, Looking forward to it.
Yeah, good. Well, man, you know what, for me, right now, what am I doing? I'm busier than I've ever been, but I'm also exhausted and exhilarated more than I've ever been, and loving every single minute of it. And I find myself with much more charge and energy. I'm being challenged both spiritually, internally, externally, in my business, in my life, in my relationships. But I know with every challenge, I literally smile. It's kind of cynical. Every time there's a challenge, I'm like, I literally make it look like a real life video game, as if I'm the protagonist hero in my own story, going, all right, the challenges that come daily, that inevitably come, and I look at them, and as soon as I get stressed, I'm like, oh yeah, I can do it. Come on, you're the protagonist. This is going to arm me with the right tools, the patience, the persistence, the principles, whatever it might be, so I can elevate my life and everyone else's life and move along the levels of development in every line, every intelligence, and every state that I have access to. For those of you who have ever studied Ken Wilber's work, he's a phenomenal teacher. He is the teacher of teachers, the thought leader of thought leaders, the big names like Tony Robbins and Wayne Dyers of the world and Deepak Chopra. They all, Marianne Williamson, all these big leaders go to this guy for coaching and for mentorship, stuff like that. And even one of my favorites, Richard Rohr, also refers to him a lot. So if you ever get a chance to read any of his books or take any of his courses, he's a phenomenal person. He actually, if you've never heard of him, just only because he chooses to remain isolated. He doesn't market himself like the other big names do, and he's not on stages. He rarely speaks in front of audiences, if ever. He likes it. I think he lives in Denver, I believe, but I've been on a few of his phone calls, and he's just a phenomenal teacher, philosopher of life, of religion, of spirituality, of just in life in general. Like he gets so much from it. And that, in fact, this particular subject of four-dimensional awareness, I learned from him. And I'm going to keep it as pragmatic, as simple as humanly possible, this episode, just because once I explain the gist of 4 dimensions, 4 quadrants of your life, you're going to go, oh my gosh, that is absolutely true. And once you know the 4 dimensions, you will start to realize how to use the 4 dimensions to your favor, the 4 quadrants to your favor, so that you can make not just short-term upgrades and changes, but long-term, lasting, lifetime changes and upgrades. Because that's what people are looking for, not just the short term, right? Where you lose 10 pounds, gain 10 pounds. I'm talking about long-term, lifetime transformation, upgrade where the upgrade sticks. And this is you've just added to a new life, a new skill, a new ability, whatever it might be to enhance and empower your life. And this particular 4-dimensional awareness, actually, I just refinishing. What I do, I listen to audio, I retake courses, I retake a lot of my coaching courses and a lot of courses I've ever signed up for, just to kind of refresh my memory. And I always learn something new every single time. And that's life. So anyways, I'll go right into it. And the first dimension, which is the upper left quadrant, I won't get into the details of where the quadrants are, but just know the first quadrant is the interior space of the individual, your psychology, your beliefs, your emotions, your perceptions, anything that's inside of you that you can't see with your eyes, but do exist, your thoughts, your beliefs, your feelings, sensations inside you. That's one dimension. So part of human transformation, the reason why I start with this is because I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, if you want transformation to stick, you got to work on your inner psychology, your emotional, your spirituality. Discover what level of development you are at in terms of the scales of development. If you want to study levels of development, study integral theory by Ken Wilber or spiral dynamics or any of developmental psychologists that are out there teaching it. Just know that it ranges from anywhere from 6 to 10 or 12 types of levels of development. And once you understand and comprehend each level of development, which level you're at particularly, you'll want to get to the next level, because there's always, as Cam said, there's always ways to grow internally, externally, and just knowing where you are, where your baseline, where you are on the map of your treasure island, of the treasure you're after. Maybe the thing that's keeping you from getting to your treasure is because you're stuck at a certain level of development. You have certain blockages or shadow or beliefs or values that are preventing you from going to the next level. And studying these levels, and you don't have to become a master in them. All that is required is you study the actual full map of the levels of development and understanding, wow, that's where I am. Well, how do I get to the next level? And so just studying and examining your psychology, your emotions, your values, your beliefs, whatever it might be, and critiquing them. That's part of development. Is looking at your map of your world, your beliefs, your values, your needs, your drives, your perceptions, and going, wait a second, have I truly examined my own needs, my own thought patterns, my own belief patterns? Are they empowering me? What are some of the beliefs and values that are disempowering me or destructive? What are some beliefs about love, about life that are empowering and constructive that I can keep and enhance? What are some of the things that I need to leave behind or transcend and then go to the next level? So that's the first dimension of the 4-dimensional awareness. The second dimension is the exterior of the individual, the upper right quadrant. So we have an interior of ourselves, of the individual, us, our values, beliefs, psychology, all these things, perceptions, and then the exterior of the individual, which is our body, our human body, our eyes. We have 2 eyes, 2 ears, a nose, a triune brain, a heart, a gut brain, 60,000 miles worth of veins and arteries, cells. And so it's not just working on your interior health and vitality, but working on the exterior of the health and vitality. On a couple podcasts ago, or yesterday's podcast, or a couple of days ago, Cam was drinking some tea. I was drinking a green drink with a freshly squeezed juice. That's taking care of the exterior of the individual. So you got the first dimension, the interior of the individual, and Cam's drinking some tea right now, or water. And the second dimension is the exterior of the individual, which is your body. So is it not true that those 2 quadrants, what you do to the first quadrant, the first dimension, interior of the individual, will directly impact the exterior of the individual? So if you have a thought about love, about, this is going to be a great day to yourself, that's going to affect your physiology. It's going to shower you with chemicals, and vice versa. If you take care of the exterior dimension of the individual, guess what will happen? It'll affect your first dimension, which is the interior of the individual. So you have a certain psychology, which will affect your physiological state. You do something to your physiology, it'll affect your psychology. So they work both hand in hand. The first dimension, interior of the individual. The second dimension is the exterior of the individual. They both work hand in hand. So the key is to take care, to make sure the interior of your life is going well and healthy and vital and expanding and lit up, and the exterior, things like exercise, diet, you know, what you say to yourself, certain skill sets, you know, if you're reading books, and those are things that you can do to enhance your brain, to enhance your psychology, taking vitamins, supplements, eating healthy, exercising, power breathing. Those are all exterior of the individual. Now, if you focus on making those two dimensions as healthy as humanly possible, your life, that alone will change your life immensely. And that's why we start with the individual. So, because it really starts, if it's to be, it's up to me. The buck's got to start with you. It's got to start and stop with you. And the third dimension, as we transfer into the third dimension, if you take care of the first and second, the interior of the individual, of yourself, and the exterior of yourself, man, that's going to give you a huge boost in accelerating and upgrading your life. And the third and fourth dimension, which is often not talked about and often dismissed by a lot of people, is the importance of the third dimension and fourth dimension. The third dimension being the interior of the collective, the interior of the culture, the people through which you hang around that either share the same beliefs that you do, either the religious organization you are with, or the political party you're with, or the YMCA, or whatever group of people that you're hanging around, understanding and examining the values, the needs, the structures, the perceptions of the people that are around you, because those will directly impact your life. I've often said this on previous podcasts, that if you want to change your life, change your friends. That's one of the best ways to change, because as you hang around people that are quote unquote better and superior than you in certain areas of your life, you will start to pick up on their habits and their values, their attitudes, their language patterns, their physiologies, their skills, their abilities, and you'll start to pick it up, and it'll be infectious. So so one thing you could do in the third dimension to go, okay, what are the deepest values, needs, thought patterns, beliefs of the primary people that I hang around, my family, my friends, my coworkers, and then really get down and dirty as to, are they aligned with my values, and how can I then upgrade my values, my interior values, but also upgrade my exterior values of the culture, either by hanging around other people or becoming the leader within that organization, that you then impact the cultural values and needs and the structures of the people around you. That's when leaders are born, of course. So we got the first dimension, interior of the individual, the second dimension, the exterior of the individual, and then we have the third dimension, which is the interior of the culture or the collective, the people you're hanging around. Now, you impact those three dimensions, man, your life is going to completely transform. And the fourth dimension is the exterior of the collective, of your environment, of the culture. So is it not true that right now, if I were to put in your home, in your home right now, and I were to paint your house all spiritual colors, like blues and purples that signify happiness and joy, I would have put, I would to put aromatherapy scents that signify joy, that when you smell it, you feel good about yourself. I would have put happy quotations, and I would all around your house, Christmas lights, and then I would have put music playing, joyful Christmas music. And on TV, you've got people that are helping people. You've got, you're watching a program on World Vision, and it's inspiring you to donate to World Vision or something like that. I don't know, whatever charitable. Or you're watching Mother Teresa, old videotapes of Mother Teresa helping poor people, or you're watching someone be healed on TV, or whatever it is, right? That particular exterior environment, your physical environment, that will eventually impact your life. So it's not just the interior of the individual, the exterior of the individual, but also the interior of the collective, but also your exterior. Do not underestimate the power of your exterior environment, where you live, where you work, the exterior of the place where you live, the things on your walls, the colors of your walls, the things you put on your walls. I have in my first floor, I have inspiring quotes, inspiring things, pictures of all around me. So I'm surrounded physically by my environment about positive colors, positive people. That it's going to infect me, and because it infects me as an individual, I then go out and infect other individuals, and we all become better and better. As I heard Ken Wilber say, he says, a better world will create better individuals. A better individuals will create a better world. So we must work together in doing that. So a perfect example of this was in a study that was done by Dr. Ellen Langer at Harvard University, and it was called, I believe, the counterclockwise experiment or something. And I actually referenced it in my book, U 2.0. And what she did was absolutely amazing. She took a bunch of older people, I think in their 60s and 70s, and put them in an environment that was like a physical environment, like when they were children or teenagers, when they were growing up, like in the 50s. So they put like the wallpaper, the furniture was like the 50s, the music was in the 50s, the TV was like black and white with the 50s, like people that, you know, or 50s and 60s, and they had like the news was playing black and white, the news anchor that was on at the time, all these things that was like the 1950s, and they kept them there. I forget for the period of time they were there for, but the point of the matter is that they wanted to see how that would affect their biology. And what they discovered was absolutely astonishing. People's fingernails started to grow. They started to look younger, and they actually studied the biology of these people that were there, and their biological age actually started to slow down and reverse just by putting them in a physical environment that was conducive to when they were growing up as teenagers. Like their fingers started to grow longer. They started to have more energy because they started to go back. Their exterior environment started to impact their interior environment of the individual, which then impacted their exterior of the individual, which then started to impact the collective of the interior of the culture, the people you were hanging around. That's how powerful four-dimensional awareness is. So if you are looking to make an upgrade in your life, if you're looking to make a change, if you're looking to empower yourself, just trying to pump yourself up individually in your interior is one thing, but you have 3 other dimensions that you have access to that you may not be considering. So anytime I make a change, I wanted to make a change. If I want to make an upgrade in any area of my life, let's say I wanted to learn how to run my own business and get employees. Well, first off, I would have to get in the right psychology and internally values that's aligned with my values. I'd have to get my body in peak condition so I can handle it. My exterior eye, the second dimension, and the third dimension, which is the interior of the culture, I'd have to start hanging around people that know what they're doing in terms of running a business and having employees and all these other things. And then the fourth, I would hang around people that have done it before, that are mentors that can teach me how to do it. I'm taking advantage of the 4 dimensions. If I just were to just go, yeah, I'm going to start a business on my own, I don't need anybody's help, and I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to find out. Why reinvent the wheel when you have people around you that know what they're doing? If you want to learn how to play guitar, watching a YouTube is great, but having someone actually deliberately teach you certain chords and how to do it all on the guitar is way better, because guess what? You're not just infecting your interior and exterior of yourself, but you're infecting what? Your interior of the collective people around you and the exterior. You have a mentor. You have people that are musicians, and you're being inspired to become a better musician. You're being inspired to do a certain thing. And when you make a mistake on the guitar, I'm just using the music as an example. You make a mistake, they correct you in real time, so you can correct it right away. That's the power of 4-dimensional awareness. So this podcast would be a perfect example of exterior culture, right? The 4th dimension, the bottom right quadrant. It also will affect your what? Your interior cultural, because guess what? Cam and I are individuals hooking up as partners. We are part of each other's partnership, or what I like to call power partnership. We're part of each other's world. He's impacting my world. I'm impacting his world. And when I show up with a vision, purpose, Cam shows up with his vision and purpose, we then ignite it. I love to do this. This one experiment with seminars, one of my favorite things to do. I'll take 2 candles that are lit, and then I'll slowly bring them together. And as they touch, the flame becomes triple the size. And it's a perfect example of exterior environment. If Cam and I were to hang around you right now for the next 30 days and literally do everything that we do habitually on a daily basis and hang around you individually, it would either, one of 3 things will happen. I've said this before. One of 3 things will happen. Either you'll come up to our standard, or we'll come down to yours, or the friendship will just kind of deplete because it's not conducive to what we want in our life. And it's nothing bad about that. It just happens. So the point of the matter is, when it comes to making transformations, so many people fail because, as an example, if you want to lose 100 pounds, let's say, they just try to affect their interior eye, their psychology, which is very important. They try to affect their exterior body, their exterior environment, the exterior of the individual, by eating, exercising, eating healthy, taking supplements, doing all the necessary things to lose a weight. But then they go home to people that are 200 pounds of weight eating McDonald's all day. They haven't affect. And guess what happens? They end up losing that temper. It happens all the time in my industry, in the fitness industry, as well as the coaching industry. They go back to a world where it doesn't support the change. So you want to not just affect yourself individually. You want to hang around people that are going to reinforce those behaviors, those standards, to uphold you to those standards. And that's when the transformation lasts and sticks, and it becomes habit. And perfect example of this as well. I will end here. It's 2:22, by the way, Cam. I just saw on the clock, man. anyway, so if you were to join, let's say, the Joint Task Force, the Canadian Joint Task Force, which is the special forces in Canada, and you were to join that, they have such a high standard that they will not lower their standard. You have to raise your standard to keep in the Joint Task Force. Apparently, they have like a 90% failure rate, according to what I've been told. It's like the Navy SEALs in the United States. The point is that in order for you to make the Joint Task Force, the Special Forces in Canada, you have to be at the highest level of standard, physically, mentally, emotionally. And they will demand it. Their leaders will demand it from you. If you don't, you quit, they kick you out. They don't care. They want to weed out all the wimps and weaklings. Okay? So the point of the matter is that they're infecting you got to go into this with interior psychology, values, emotional fitness. You got to be prepared physically, your exterior of the individual. And then you put yourself in an environment where the values of that Canadian Joint Task Force is so high that you're going to be impacted by that. And then the exterior environment, they're going to put you through hell, which will enhance you or completely break you. And most of the time it breaks you. And I'm sure for the people that have ever done, military training, it's pretty intense. That's the power of 4-dimensional awareness. And I did that all in one breath. And we've got a couple comments. And Jared, what's going on, man? I was off on a tangent. I didn't get to read your things here. So thank you for joining us. It is true. Sometimes you have to pay to hang out with the Supreme. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, dude, I've paid, no joke, and I'm not trying to impress anybody out there. I've tens of thousands of dollars to join, to go to seminars, to get coaching, probably close to about $100,000. I'm no joke either, to take courses, to work with the best, study the best, whatever it took. Part of the reason why I wanted to do it, not just for my interior eye, my exterior eye as well, then I could impact everyone around me, my interior cultural values and my exterior, my house, my environment, everywhere. So thank you for saying that. Wow. Go ahead there, Kev.
It's just crazy how you're basically like you spent all this money, all this time working on yourself, which now you are like a tool belt. You have so much inside of you that you could pull out from and fix a situation or help a situation or help somebody or blah blah blah. I always think of it like something that, like, the reason I was so addicted to personal development was because I felt that feeling of like, whoa, I'm a higher quality human being. Like if somebody was stranded on an island and it was like me versus that dude who doesn't care about learning or doesn't care about bettering himself, they would choose me because I'm learning. I'm more valuable as a human being. You know what I mean? And I think everybody's got to realize that they have the capability of that. Like, you're literally a blank slate. You are ready to be upgraded. Like, you're ready for it. And you say that all the time with your U 2.0 book. Because really, like, same goes with singing is like the best metaphor for that. Every single human being on planet Earth that can speak has the capability of being a tremendous singer. Hitting like high notes, low notes, everything. It's just a muscle that you have to strengthen, And so if you're a human being and you have all the 5 senses working perfectly, if you could walk around and speak English and all this stuff, then you are literally ready to be the type of person who walks in a room and is confident and knows what to do and has all the answers and blah 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 blah. Not that you're going to be perfect, because you're a human being, but really, like, you could just feel a little bit more excited to be in your own skin, because so many people are just like the total opposite of excited to be in their own skin. And I know what that feels like. I really do. It's not fun. But good news is you're taking the right step if you've made it this far in the podcast. So
oh yeah, for sure.
That's it.
And you're absolutely right. And again, just to bring into awareness, like the 4 dimensions, like if you start thinking about your life in these 4-dimensional ways and go, all right, why isn't my life working? Is it something I got to work on individually inside me, values, psychology, or perceptions? Or is there something I got to do physically with my body to make me feel better, like exercise, eat healthier foods, examine those things? Or do I have to leave a career that is toxic? That's a toxic physical environment, but also the values of that environment are cheating, lying, backstabbing. That's going to affect you. That's going to impact you. Maybe perhaps you got to leave your job and find a new one, or at least at the very least, when you're not working at your job, do something of value that you're passionate about. Or as Jared said, you got to be able to bring value to people's lives in your own unique way. And once you start studying these 4 dimensions, I promise you, once you can start tweaking your 4 dimensions of your life, man, it just literally even Cam and I meeting each other. That was a crazy, a synchronistic event.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like 16 as well. Like that was so long ago. It's crazy.
4 years ago.
Yeah. It's nuts.
Oh my gosh. And he's impacted my values. I'm impacting his. He's inspired me. I've inspired him. And we're continuously combining our purpose together, our vision together to impact the world through our own unique way. He has his own talents, and I'm bringing out from his well of experience and knowledge. I'm inspiring him to step up. He's inspiring me to step up, to go to the next level of Anthony Cheam 4.0, Cameron 2.0, Jared 2.0, 5.0, 10.0, and you're constantly upgrading. The computers that are constantly upgrading. Why on earth are we never upgrading? We have to upgrade our interior, our exterior, our environment, all these things we got to upgrade, because guess what? If we don't upgrade, life will present us with challenges that, as an example, let's say you took the first iPod that came out 15 years ago, and you tried to hook it up to your computer. Would it be physically able to take on the speed of the computer that we have today? It's not. It wouldn't even register, because it hasn't upgraded yet. So humans are the same way. If you haven't upgraded your body, mind, and spirit for the challenges that come later on in adult life, that inevitably come through the levels of development and through your life stages happen every 6, 7, 8 years, and you're not prepared, man, it gets tough, because you have not sharpened the muscles, shaped the muscles, exercised yourself to be able to handle the workload of life, right?
So real quick recap, the 4-dimensional awareness. So the idea is to be aware of what's wrong where, like when or whatever. So like you feel a certain way and you ask yourself, okay, is this my body? Is this my environment? Is this my mind? Is this the other people who are in the room? And so that's basically the idea, is becoming aware of that and then knowing what to do once.
Yes.
Could we like possibly even in the next episode, like talk about how, because right now it's becoming aware of those things. Now we could talk about like tangible, step by step, what you could do simply every single day to up those areas, those 4 areas.
4 dimensions. Yeah. Oh, 100%. I mean, we could talk about, we can take each dimension an episode per episode. Maybe the next 4, we talk about interior I, interior we, and exterior we, the culture, interior of the culture. Yeah. We can talk about that, because if you start to examine, as an example, let's say I see this all the time, people that are part of a religious organization, they've outgrown that particular religious organization. And by the way, people don't outgrow religious organizations. They outgrow the level that religious organization is in, or that particular church or particular synagogue or whatever it might be. And in leaving it, it actually becomes a healthy response. Because if you get someone that's at a level 4, and people that haven't really studied developmental scales and developmental psychology and levels of development won't understand. But if you're at a lower level of development and you're part of a religious organization, and the pastor or the spiritual leader is at level 3, they're going to impact people that are at level 3 and below, maybe. But in terms of people that are at higher levels of spirituality and kindness and love and world centricity, they're not going to impact them, because they're going to be it's literally above their heads. And so we can definitely talk about that. But the point of the matter is, I think the reason why I want to talk about this is that understanding the 4 dimensions, being aware of which dimension is holding you back, or which dimension you have to work on to make that next level jump to your next upgrade, so you can make it stick, so it can be fully installed and fully operational in your body, mind, and spirit. You got to look at those 4 dimensions. If your life isn't working, look at one of those dimensions at a time and study them profusely. If I talk too fast, you know what, listen to this podcast again and just start studying it and start being aware of these things, and then slowly start to integrate different little things and go, you know what, maybe even little things like this. I had one client I said to her, I want you to pick one room in your home and paint it the very color that signifies love and joy. And then I want you to put on one wall quotes of famous leaders that you love you. And on another wall, put like animals, because she was an animal lover. I put animals that you love, pictures of animals. And on the fourth wall, just make it a free space where you paint. And she was also an artist. And on the fourth wall, just do something fun and just like whatever it might be. Make that room your sanctuary, your exterior of the culture, your environment. Step into that room. It's holy. It's blessed. It affects you. Trust me when I say that. Okay. Right now I've got this light shining in my face that signifies the sun, which emulates the sun, and it's shining in my face, and I'm feeling lit up by it because there's not a lot of sun right now. But I'm affecting what? My fourth dimension, which is my exterior of the culture, my exterior environment. So thank you guys so much for joining. And Jared had a comment here. He said, Cam, if you can speak, you can be a tremendous singer. What?
Yeah, no, look it up. It's actually really interesting. Like if you have a voice box and you're a human being, the voice is a muscle. Practice it and you'll be Mariah Carey in no time.
Yeah, you know what? I think maybe a more precise thing. If you can speak, you can improve your voice. You can upgrade your voice on a consistent basis. I believe that. Even if you're not a musician or skilled, even if you got like you're tone deaf, you can still improve your ability to be better in your hearing ability, and then which will improve your voice. 100%. I absolutely agree. It's like that story in Think and Grow Rich about the guy that couldn't hear, and then the guy was telling
belief.
Right?
It's crazy,
right? Yeah, the belief, and the guy couldn't hear. He couldn't physically. His physical body, the doctor said, he will never hear in his life. And the father just kept telling the kid, "You will hear one day. You will hear one," with total faith and certainty. And then the kid started to hear. Like that's the power of what?
Burning desire, faith,
burning desire.
All of that. But also, the fourth dimension.
Yeah, the exterior. Someone coaching you, encouraging you. So you have the belief inside you, which is the first dimension. You have the exterior eye, which will affect your exterior eye, which is the second dimension. You hang around people that are going to impact you in a pod, which reinforce that belief, and magic is made, right?
That's amazing.
All right, guys.
You know what we should do more often is stories like that. Like try our best to sort of take the topic of the day and relate it to one big story. I like that. That was like, even though that was only 50 seconds, it really put everything into context right away. That was awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
Amen, cool. Brother. All right. Well, to your continued upgrade and evolution, ladies and gentlemen, leaders and healers, gamers and claimers around the universe, thank you for joining us on this podcast. We hope you enjoy this podcast. If you love it, comment on it, subscribe on whatever podcast, Facebook, YouTube, iTunes, whatever it is.
Rate it on iTunes.
Rate it on iTunes. We love you. Share it with people. We just want to impact you and make a difference in your life. And we hope that we really are doing that on the Power, Purpose, and Passion podcast. So live it up with power, purpose, and passion. We love you guys. God bless, guys.